What's going on, everybody? I'm working out of this cookbook again today, Paul Prudhomme's Louisiana Kitchen, his first cookbook. I'm trying to learn how to cook better, how to cook more things, the things that well, maybe some of the things I didn't eat growing up, but I want to make some of the food from where I'm from and just kind of expand my cooking skills and the amount of dishes that I can make and just have some good food, okay? So today I'm making seafood dirty rice. I went to a local grocery store and got what I could. Okay, they had some lump crab meat and some frozen shell-on shrimp. Now when I bought these, I thought they had the head attached, but come to find out they don't. So I'll be making my own stock without having the heads, okay? Still better than using regular water, so I'll just take the shells off of these, put them in some water, make a stock, and it is what it is. I got what I could find real close to me without having to go too far. Got some rice, some tomato sauce, some vegetables back here, some bread, French bread just to go with it. I think the first thing I need to do is make the stock. Go ahead and get the shrimp peeled and get the shells in the water, start making the stock. So let me do that right now. Look at this. They've even got a head on the shrimp on the package. So when it said shell on, I assumed it came like this. If you look inside, I don't know if you can see it or not, but no heads. I'm just over here peeling the shrimp. I've only done a few of them so far. I've got the rest of these bags to do, but going the extra mile and deveining them. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and finish doing all the shrimp and I'll come back to you. Just a side note, I forgot I was supposed to keep these shells, so I dug them out of the trash can, these first few. Good thing I remembered. Shh. Alright, I'm done with the shrimp. I've got it peeled, got the shells here, and I got the shrimp here. I'm gonna put this back here to get ready for the stock, and I'm gonna put this in the fridge until I need them. Now you may be wondering how I know what to do to make a stock. Well, I don't. And Paul Prudhomme has a recipe for how to make shrimp stock, seafood stock, all kinds of stock in his cookbook. So I'm following this. It starts off with 2 quarts of water, and I've got a rib of celery, I've got a whole onion, and it says a large clove of garlic. I got a medium-sized one, so I put another smaller one in. These need to stay peeled, but I'm gonna quarter them. We'll put that in the water back here, and then start making the stock. And just a side note, if you've seen my previous videos, you'll remember I've talked about how sad and small that little cutting board was. Well, I got a new one today. It's not a wooden one, but it is bigger than the wooden one that I have. So just in case you noticed that, I'm pretty excited. So I'm going to eventually make a big wooden one like you see on different cooking shows and stuff. But for today, this will work good enough. It was only 10 bucks. All right, so here's the cold water into which I'm going to put these vegetables. Now this pan is maybe too small for what I'm trying to do, but I'm gonna make it work. Here's the shrimp shells. Yeah, I'm almost to the top here. Now I gotta get this going on to a boil, and then I'm gonna simmer that for quite some time. Now Paul says in the cookbook to get this to a boil and then simmer it for 4 hours. Now, I don't have 4 hours, but fortunately he does mention that if you don't have 4 hours, even 30 minutes to an hour is better than just using plain water, like I kind of mentioned earlier. So I'm gonna get, a good couple hours in on this, so that's even better than 30 minutes to an hour. So I think it's gonna be okay. I hope so, at least. Starting to get to a boil here. While I'm waiting on this to cook, I'm gonna go ahead and get all the seasoning mixed together, cut all the vegetables, and then make the rice. So let me start with the vegetables right here. And just so you can see, this is the new one I bought today from the grocery store, and this is my old one. So got quite a bit more space. It's like twice the size this way. Guess I'll start with the green pepper. I only need like a couple tablespoons of diced peppers. Go ahead and cook the rice while I'm waiting. There is a recipe in his cookbook called Basic Cooked Rice. So I've got 2 cups of rice here, and he cooks it in an oven, which I've never done before, but I'm gonna go ahead and try it out like he said. So I've got some vegetables here, which I've never done this before either, but and I gotta do a pinch of white pepper, black pepper, and red pepper. Black pepper, there's the red pepper, and there's the white pepper. An 1/8 teaspoon of garlic powder, and a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and then 2.5 cups of water, which doesn't seem like enough water for the rice, but maybe because it's going to be cooking slowly in an oven. I forgot the butter. There's 1.5 tablespoons of butter. Now I'm going to cover it and put it in the oven at 350 for about 1 hour and 10 minutes. There we go. And the stock's looking pretty good. It smells really good, I gotta tell you. It smells excellent. All right, the alarm just went off for the rice, so let's go look at it and see if it's cooked. Oh man, look at that. Wow, I might start cooking rice like this every time. Cooked all the way through. It's good. Alright, there's the stock. Just pick this up and place it right here. Okay, I got the stock over here on the screen, ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and put the oil and the butter. 1 tablespoon of oil, 2 tablespoons of butter. Yeah. I gotta cook this for about 5 minutes and then go to the next step. I gotta add the tomato sauce too. Skipped over that part in the recipe somehow. And let this cook for 5 minutes and then we'll go on. Alright, I'm ready to add the stock. So I've got it over here. See that? So I'm gonna dip out what I need. Now, I gotta cook this about 10 minutes. So I'm gonna let it do that, and then I'll come back to you. You know, growing up, I never really knew what the difference between Cajun and Creole was. I thought it was the same thing. It turns out, reading from Paul and watching a few videos, Cajun is more country Louisiana cooking. It's usually a brown in color, and it's pot cooking. The Creole food comes from like around New Orleans and that whole port area, and they added tomatoes to the food. Just based on the cuisines from other cultures, and so you'll usually see a reddish color of tomatoes in Creole food, whereas Cajun food doesn't have tomatoes and it's more brown. I don't know, that's a really basic description of the difference between Creole and Cajun. I'll try to find a video with more information about that, since I'm just kind of talking out of my head. I may be saying something incorrect. I'll put a link to that in the video description below. So after saying all that, what I'm saying is, you know, I'll put tomato sauce in this, so I guess this is more of a Creole version of seafood dirty rice, I guess. I don't know. Alright, I am ready to do the next step, which is 1/2 cup of cream. Heavy cream. You know, I'm looking at this and, you know, I'm still got a couple minutes, but he never mentions to turn it down. He just says with the stock cooking on high, and then he says to pour that in and simmer it. I'm assuming that to simmer something, you've got to have it lower than just on high. So I've got it turned down to almost between mid and low. And of course, I don't have a gas stove, so it may be different for a gas stove, maybe. But you can see it's thickened up. Ready for the shrimp. I'll cook this for about 3 minutes, and then add everything else. Once I add everything else, all I gotta do is just make sure it's all heated up through and through, and it's ready to serve. Sounds awesome. Alright, the shrimp are cooked through. I just took one out and tested it and cut it and just make sure. So now I gotta add the rice. It's like 3.5 cups of rice that I cooked earlier. I gotta add the lump crab meat. which I have right here, and the green onions. Said to try not to break up the lumps of crab meat too much. It looks pretty good. I did taste test it in the pan before I scooped it out. It needed a good bit more salt, so I went ahead and salted it up again before serving it. But I think I'm going to go ahead and add some two-step. If you know who Stale Cracker is, he's got a seasoning in Walmart if you want to try that out. I'm going to go ahead and put a little two-step on it. Yeah, my kids are here, so supper time. I'll go ahead and take a bite. I think what will make the difference is some fresh shrimp instead of this cheap shrimp. You can just tell the shrimp is low quality. Honestly, not bad. It's the only seafood dirty rice I've ever had, to be honest. But, you know, I mean, I'm still glad I made it. I enjoy this kind of food, and I've got quite a few leftovers to eat, so that's a good thing too. I definitely like it better with the two-step. Yeah, well, I wasn't so sure about it when I first took the bite out of the pan, but adding a good bit more salt and now the two-step, it's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. Anyway, so glad you stuck around to the end. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.